So, what do I have to say about Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice? Wow. Well, to start off, it leaves me speechless in many ways. Now, I could say that it is technically fluid, it has gorgeous graphics. Many times when I was looking out at it, especially over the vistas, it looked inspiring, like artwork you'd see in the Renaissance, like from Rembrandt or Rosa Bonheur. It definitely has an inspiring art style based in medievalism of the European North, and they did a very good job of the developers did a fantastic job of matching to the style. So they definitely did their history homework and research there. Additionally, I mean, the sound design was incredible, particularly the voices in Senua's head. They were realized. They felt fully three-dimensional, and the environment, the ambient environmental sounds blended with them well, as well did the combat sounds. So it was just visually and orally, it was a feast, this game. It was amazing, just fantastic work with them, and I think it's a small team as well. If we're to look at gameplay, it certainly was explorative without being too boring at times. I never felt that I was being bored or having to rush through areas or slog through areas, even when I was maybe repeating the same tracks, going over the same tracks over and over. The fighting mechanic was gritty, though at times it is a bit clunky to turn around and move left to right. In terms of making impacts and sword clashes and sword movements, it felt brutally impactful, quite visceral. So that was fantastic. Now, if we look at the story, like I've already just told you a few things where this game really excelled and really scored high marks. But then we get to the story, which was astoundingly high marks if you were to keep going. The characterizations were terrific. Senua, Druth, Zimbo, Dillion, her mother Galena, hell, even Hela, who we know is someone other than Hela. But these characterizations were very deeply realized. Many through impactful dialogue, or others through gut-wrenching scenes that the developers just knew exactly where to insert in the involving narrative of what was going on in Senua and her journey, which was a journey not just through space and through geography, but through the mind as well. And they really portrayed that well without me, the player, getting lost in any of it. It was an emotionally draining game because of all that. One of very few I've played, and I've played a lot of games. Probably, I'm certainly a person who plays games completely. Unless they're extremely terrible, I play games through from beginning and end, usually at least twice, so that I go through and see things that I missed. And I played a lot in my 30 plus years of gaming now, and this is one of the very few that just left me emotionally drained, but in a very good way. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is more of an experience than a typical gaming game, more of a dramatic experience, cinematic in many ways, certainly artistic. People might complain it's too short, but it felt just right for what it was. That said, keep an eye on the price tag. Make sure it's a bit lower than your typical game that you'd expect. Use how long to beat to really tell you that this is only about an 8 to 10 hour game at most. And the replayability is mainly something you'd come back for months, maybe even a couple of years after you played it, to refresh yourself on how incredibly awesome this experience is. Like watching a sleeper hit cult classic movie, as opposed to, like, say, playing a game. I am giving this glowing praise. It's going to leave me with strong memories and an urge to rank this among my all-time favorites, especially in different categories, but certainly among deep characters and a thoughtful narrative and the exploration of themes that very few developers dare tread to explore upon. But this Ninja Theory team, they did. They hired the experts. They did the thorough research so that they seem legitimate in doing so, and not so ham-fisted. But wow, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is a tremendous experience. And I've heard there's going to be a Hellblade 2 coming out within about a year, ideally. And I am now extremely looking forward to it, to see what they do with it. I hope Ninja Theory doesn't stray too far from this formula that they've established in Senua's Sacrifice, because all people would ask for, like me, fans, instant fans, and probably now lifelong enduring fans would ask for, is for them to just carefully make additions to the formula they've created here, and when they do so, maintain what made this one, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, great. And that was just a quality care, an A+ blockbuster care for every little aspect. The visuals, the sounds, the characters, the ambience, the environments, the history, the themes, the dialogue, even the combat. They have to go through it with a careful brush so that the next game, the sequel that's definitely coming out, maybe even the third to complete a trilogy, maybe years down the road, is just left to perfection. And do that by keeping it not too long, not too full of mechanics, and not too adding too many weird story elements. But good luck to Ninja Theory. Man, have they created a masterpiece here.